Good morning, everyone. I hope this is working. Okay, so this morning I woke up again from another dream, and Peter, will you come over here and tell me about your drawing, please? Will you come tell me about your drawing? Okay, so first of all, the first thing that I found this morning was this drawing by my 2.5-year-old. Do you see it?
Yeah.
All right, so Peter, would you mind telling us about this drawing and what you thought about it? Okay. Let's see you up here so they can see you. Okay. Peter has been drawing daily and consistently since he was 1 year old, and he is quite the little artist at this point, right? Okay, so will you tell us about this picture? And then I'll tell you what I thought about it when I saw it for the first time. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it or not really?
No.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Heidi and that's Heidi.
Okay, which one is Flighty and which one is Mighty?
This is Friday and this is Mighty.
This is Flighty and this is Mighty, he says. All right, is that all you want to say about it, or do you want to say a little bit more about it too?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. Out of the mouths of babes. So this boy for 3 days straight last week kept saying, Jesus is coming soon. Jesus is coming soon. He kept saying that to me lots of times. Is that right? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay. Okay, is that all you want to say? Yeah. Okay, you can go play, but make sure you're a little bit quiet so I can say what I need to say too, okay? Thank you, sweetheart. All right, so remember this image for a few minutes. I'm going to start reading out of the scriptures and then tell you about my dreams that I've had in the past 3 days. Flighty and Mighty, that's even significant. I have to give you a little background as far as drawings are concerned. Every one of my kids are artists. Yeah, Petey, you want to sit up here too?
Yeah.
Every one of my kids are artists. And not only that, but little children are so connected to heaven, and they often will be drawing things of what they see happening around them or what is going to happen.
Mommy.
They have the gift of prophecy and revelation strongly.
Mommy.
Yes, sweetheart.
Can I play on the iPad?
No. But you can go ask Ginny if she'll get you some breakfast. Are you hungry? Yes, exactly. That's what I want to read out of Emmy.
I don't want to eat breakfast.
You don't want to eat breakfast? What do you want to do?
I want to play on the phone.
I know, but not right now, okay? But you know what you can do? You can play with Emily, or you can draw some more pictures. Do you want to do that?
No, I want to play with Emily.
Okay.
Emily, don't play with me. Don't play with me, Emily.
Okay, be careful, sweetie. There's a little box there. Oh dear. Sorry.
Emily, kind of put me down.
Okay. There you go.
What should I do? Oh, do it.
Okay, can you guys go in your bedroom to play? Your newly cleaned bedroom? Okay. All right. So, anyway, back to business. All right. So, hey, Peter, Emily, can you go in your room to play for just a few minutes so I can do this?
Yes, no.
Okay, thank you. All right. So I opened my scriptures first thing this morning because I had a dream that I didn't think was significant, but the more I think about it, it is significant. So I'm going to be reading out of the book of Revelation and Revelation chapter 14, okay? And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Do you see this drawing right here? In his forehead, in his hand. Flighty. This is what my 2-year-old said. In his hand is a person, a small person. This is who this person has been listening to, okay? This person has trusted in the arm of flesh. He's been listening to the voices around him and possibly the voices of demons and men. All right. He's got sores all over his skin. He's also got a mark. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels. Okay, this reminds me of an angel because it looks like it has wings. See how it's happy? This one has a sad face right here and sores in his skin. Now, some of you may think this is a little far-fetched, but I believe I've been given many gifts by God, and because I constantly seek his voice and have most of my life, I do believe that my children are prophesying and revealing things all the time, and all children do if we stop to listen for a minute. All right, he shall be, okay, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast and his image. And whosoever receiveth the mark of his name, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Now, I'm going to be talking about this one right here. Okay. And I heard a voice from heaven saying, Right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked and beheld a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. Emily, do you want to come tell what you were telling me a couple weeks ago? Okay, this is my Emily, and she, from the time she was 2 years old, would start speaking of things that certainly were not being taught to her anywhere, and that were straight from heaven. Will you tell about just when you were outside and your experience with the clouds? Come stand up here close, okay? Good job, sweetie. Go ahead.
The clouds were opening up, and it was white clouds, and light was coming down.
Mm-hmm. And then what did you do after that? How did you feel when that happened?
I kept on thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't leave your mind, huh? And I remember you running into me, and you were both really excited, but a little bit scared too. And you told me all about it, and you said, I think, what did you say to me?
I just said, the clouds were opening up and light was coming down. And I thought Jesus was coming down.
Mm-hmm. Good. All right. And then what happened I think it was the next morning or the exact same day, actually, yeah, it was the next morning. So if you want, you can go back to what you were doing. If you want to stay, you can too. Either
I
one.
think
Okay. The next morning on my morning walk, I was walking and I looked up and I had never seen anything like this, but this was a second witness to me. And then a third with my 2-year-old son, the following week. Well, it wasn't even the following week. It was probably about, I'd say 5 days later that my little 2-year-old son started saying, Jesus is coming soon. He said it several times for 3 days straight. I mean, whenever it came to his mind, he said it. So the next morning I was walking and I looked up and there was the entire sky on the side that I was looking at was just pure clouds. And they didn't have much of any variance in color. It was just one solid, it was like a solid cloud covering more than half the sky. There was no variance in color. And I looked up and there was a parting of the clouds. Just a parting of the clouds. I have never seen anything like that. And I thought, this must be similar to what Emily was saying yesterday that made her excited and a little scared as well. So I thought, Jesus is coming soon. And the smoke of okay, here we go. Those which die in the Lord from henceforth may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked and beheld a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like the Son of Man, and he was carrying a sickle. Another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. All right. Okay, now I'm going to read out of chapter 16 about the plagues of God. Okay, upon the wicked, he starts pouring them out. And I'm going to read about this first one because it very much lines up with what my little son drew. I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. All right, I'm not going to expand on those things. This morning, first thing when I woke up, we looked outside and there was the sunrise. And Emily pointed that out and she says, that's like a sunset, but the sun is coming up. And I said, that's called a sunrise. And I talked to Emily just a little bit and she said, I said, for some reason lately, it's been feeling like wintertime, but it's this comforting feeling. It's as if snow is all over the ground and it's pure white and it's just beautiful. And I feel secure. Yeah. Do you want to be part of my video too? Can you close my door real quick? Okay, so I asked Emily, and I was talking to Emily about what I was feeling, and she says, this is her quote. He says, it's the white of the snow. And so I think as saints of God, we definitely need to be seeking right now to be pure and white like the snow. Okay, Sarah, did you want to tell about anything that you've been thinking or feeling lately? How have you been feeling lately?
I don't know.
You don't know? Have you been having any dreams or anything like that? Okay, well, while you think about that, I'm going to share my dream from this morning, and I'll share it with you as well. Okay. So last night, this morning, early in the morning and throughout the night, the wind was blowing extremely strong, and I knew I could hear it while I was sleeping because I woke up a couple times because of it. But the wind was really, really strong. And I kept thinking, I was dreaming that we were home and the wind was strong. And I was looking out the window and seeing what kinds of things it was doing, just blowing things all around really hard. And I thought, my kids must not have school today. I wonder if they're going to cancel it or not because this is pretty strong wind. And then it started to rain. And then all of a sudden it was snowing, but it was like within 1 minute, there was several inches of snow, and it was the fluffiest snow ever. And my kids were excited about it, but it was a mixture of rain and hail as well. I saw a little bit of rain, I saw a little bit of hail. And because of the wind, I was watching for tornadoes. And at first there was one that was starting. And so I was calling all of my kids inside because some of them were playing outside. And I said, guys, I need you to come inside, come in the basement just in case there's a tornado. And then I looked out the window and there was the mountains in the west. There was the biggest tornado I've ever seen. There was earth and lava and fire. And it was it's as if it was picking up part of the mountain to be part of it. And it started turning. And there was a loud noise that was coming as part of it. So I knew that we were in serious danger because I was seeing it as it was being formed. And so again, I called all of my family and I said, guys, we need to get in the basement. We're in danger. And I looked outside and two of my littlest boys were outside and they were giggling and having fun in the rain and the hail. And like they often do here in Colorado. So I went and got them quickly and I was trying to get them to listen. And my husband was sitting on the landing of the stairs watching his shows on his computer. And I kept saying, Daniel, will you please just look out the window and see what's happening? And he was just ignoring me. So that was the end of the dream. That was all that it was. So that one. And then I guess I'll tell about the dream that I had. I think it was 4 nights ago or 5 nights ago. I'm not sure. Okay. So Sarah, do you have anything you want to say? Okay. Would you mind just getting me a drink of water? See that cup right there? A really big drink of water. My throat is so dry. Thank you, sweetie. Okay, so here's the most recent dream. Now, I've been dreaming and receiving visions really since I really started seeking the Lord and His guidance when I was 13. I've been dreaming since I was a little girl, but I've been receiving really prophetic dreams since I was about 13. I've learned to listen and pay heed to them and to pray for an ability to understand what they mean and to now in the past I'd say month or so, the Lord has impressed upon my mind and my heart that I actually need to start speaking and sharing these things. So I've been doing that pretty diligently on my Facebook page. Thank you so much. All right. I've also been writing a book about them. And a pattern that I've noticed when it comes to my dreams and my visions is that they're symbolic, number one, which normally it is. The Lord's way of communicating is through symbolism. And so we have to understand our language with Him. And hopefully many of you have been practicing that diligently so that when there comes a time when the Lord is warning you how to prepare for something, or even just to go somewhere, or to refuse something, or to fight for something, that you will be able to be obedient because you actually understand what He's trying to tell you. It's an important skill to have right now. All right. I'm going to tell you this dream and then I'm going to end. Now, I have not, the thing about dreams is that once you have them, you seem to remember the feeling that you had when you woke up because it tends to linger. And number two, all the details that come with it stay in your mind forever. And the meaning of it will come together like puzzle pieces over time as you seek the Spirit. So, because this one is so fresh and new, I don't understand the meaning of it in full for sure. As a matter of fact, probably a lot of the dreams and visions I had from 5 years ago, I don't understand in full, but I do understand them much better as I've saw the voice of the Spirit to understand little bits at a time, little details at a time. So, that being said, I'm just going to relate it to you and hope that you can glean something from it. And as a disclaimer, I already know that only those that are really seeking truth and seeking the Lord's voice in their life will be drawn to this video and my voice. And those who are not will brush it aside because that's what's happened pretty much my entire life. So, all right. So in this dream, I was on the outside of a big church, a massive church. I don't know if it was the Catholic, Protestant, Baptist. I don't know what it was. It was not a church that I belonged to, though. And through this church, there was magical things being offered. I was handed 2 blankets. Actually, they just appeared as I was sitting on the outside of this church. Okay, so I knew that there was impending freezing rain coming, like within seconds. This was the knowledge. And I was thankful that these blankets appeared out of nowhere because now I know what the church is. I know exactly what it is. It's the world/government. Okay. All right. So these 2 blankets appeared out of nowhere. The one on the left that I remember was cultural and traditional. It was brown. It was intricately woven, but it was a lot of deep colors as well. The plainness of it reminded me of something that could have been woven thousands of years ago. So it went across the spans of time. It defied time, is what I'm saying. It was generational and cultural. It was heavy. It was beautifully made and very orderly, but it was hand woven. The blanket on the right was machine made. It was light fleece. It was simply made. It was just a piece of fabric basically sewed around quickly by a machine. And it's something that you could purchase for $5 or $10 at Walmart. Okay, so this would represent I guess how privileged we are, the ability that we have to go and buy pretty much anything that we want or need at the store right now for pretty cheap. This would represent our temporal comfort. Our traditional cultural comfort, our temporal comfort, and modern as well, modern comfort. Okay, so these 2 blankets appeared out of nowhere, and I thought, there's freezing rain coming. I need to tie these blankets together because they're pretty small, and I need to be able to cover myself to guard myself against this freezing rain that's coming any second now. And I was needing to use that as a guard and protection for my family as well. So that was the very beginning of the dream. Okay. So I started trying to tie these ends together and trying to makeshift them. I'm pretty industrious as a person. I can take a lot of whatever we have and create something and make something out of it usually. That's one of my many gifts. But no matter how hard I tried to put these 2 blankets together and tie them in various ways, they fell apart and they fell off. They weren't holding. They weren't going to be any source of comfort or protection for me or my family. Okay, so that was the first part of the dream. Second part of the dream, this is the middle of the dream. And I swear this dream only lasted about 2 minutes, but very symbolic and very significant and powerful. I was sitting again on the outside of that church, but it's as if I was they were handing me all these different pictures. It's kind of like when you go to a salon to get a new hairdo and they hand you a magazine and you're looking through it and thinking, okay, what do I want my new look to be? So I was handed what seemed to be a binder full of slip sheets, full of pictures. But these pictures were not full of beautiful people or different hairdos. They were full of pictures of baboons and gorillas and monkeys. And as I flipped through, I got really sick of it really fast and thought, there's no variety here. And I don't want to look like this. I don't want to be like this. And so I paid no attention to it. Okay, so remember the thing about the mark of the beast. The third part of the dream. I was in my vehicle and my children were there behind me and we were going to go somewhere. Then I reached in my back pocket and I pulled out 2 cards. One was supposed to be my driver's license. The other was supposed to be my credit card. The only problem is that they were null and void. There were a small amount of numbers, but most everything had been faded and it was just a plastic piece of card. There was no value in it. And so I believe that this means that our ability to travel in the future, to be able to pick up and go wherever we want to in our vehicles, and our ability to buy things with our own money, with our credit cards and with transactions won't be like it is now. It's not going to happen. I mean, we're not going to be able to just do these things. And so it goes back to that whole modern day comfort and convenience, and also the cultural and traditional things that we've been able to rely on forever. We won't be able to in coming days. So I just wanted to get this message out there and let y'all know that there's going to be more videos coming because it's time for me to share these things. And I've already prayed a blessing of protection over these, that only the humble and pure of heart will be able to hear these messages and that we'll seek after them. And I hope and pray that you're all seeking after having the seal of the Lord written upon your foreheads, because you will be like angels. I remember a vision that I had as I was listening to and reading, different people's posts, people who are meant to be a voice of warning. I saw in my mind a person running, and he was on fire, and he was bright flaming red. Of course, he was warning everyone of what was coming, and only those who were seeking the voice of God could understand or even pay attention to what he was saying, because his presence was very disturbing. And I believe there's many of these people. And so as we seek the Lord's voice, I know that we'll be blessed with the wings of angels. We'll be able to move to and fro. We'll be able to choose as we desire. And of course, we'll be seeking the Lord's will in all things. And we'll be happy. We'll be at peace. Those of us who are trusting in the arm of flesh and listening to this great and abominable church that I was sitting on the outside of, will find ourselves in a bad predicament. We'll still be upholding these things and still trusting in the wrong voices, but it will cause misery and suffering. And I want to testify of these things. Throughout my life, no one has really paid much attention to my voice and just my quiet personality, I guess. And also, many have thought that I was crazy. But it doesn't matter because I have only ever sought to hear the Lord's voice and for him to speak through me. I want to bear my testimony that Jesus Christ is coming soon, and that if we have the seal of the Lord written upon our foreheads, meaning that we, are listening to his voice above all others and seeking to do his will, we will be guided and protected. We will be blessed. If we are called to die through whatever means, it's okay, because we'll be in the presence and the rest of the Lord. And if we're called to stay here and continue to do our part, then glory be to God. We're so blessed in that. I just want to bear my testimony of the truth of all these things that I've spoken of. And I do so with such gratitude in my heart for our Savior, who who has given us the opportunity to be able to choose for ourselves and to act for ourselves. And we will recognize those who have the mark of the beast by the fact that they will be acting like animals. They will be acting like beasts because they will no longer have the ability to act and choose for themselves because they've been indulging in their beastly appetites or desires, and they've been trusting the wrong voices. So you'll be able to determine whether or not someone is of God by how much of mastery they have over themselves, and also by the ability that they have to have peace and hope and love in their hearts, regardless of what's happening around them and regardless of how people are treating them. And I promise that as saints of God, we'll be given power to do whatever the Lord asks us to do. So seek the voice of the Lord. I pray humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.